Welcome to another episode of the Defund DOC podcast. I'm Linda, and with me is my co-host, Daniel Sims.
Hello, world. This is Daniel, and I want to give you a dose of Defund D's prescribed for DOC. I hope you're feeling free because we're not. We're in DOC. Today we got a special episode with the funniest guy in the entire world that you don't even know yet. That is changing, but still. A man with a deep passion for creativity, comedy, and music. Sure, they haven't been fully revealed yet, but still. One who has done stand-up comedy in front of thousands. Sure, there were thousands of prisoners, but still. He wrote a book entitled Elevate Your Energy. Be sure to get it on Amazon. Sure, it's got 1 star on Amazon, but still. He's a phenomenal rapper, ignited new levels of musical ecstasy. Sure, there's no album yet, but still. And you and I are also starting a prison country music band called the Vassals. We're already 5 tracks in. The lyrical depth is going to blow the music world on fire. Of course, it'll be months before the album is done, but still. Welcome, my friend and my fellow Vassal member, the one and only comedy and lyrical genius, Damian Dirt Davis.
Hey, world, how y'all doing out there, man? It's Dirty D, man, and I'm coming at you live, man, with Defund D, man. 2 Ds, man. Could you imagine that? 2 good old Ds, man. One's the dirty one and one's the Defund D. How y'all doing out there?
We're good.
Can you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
For starters, I'm from right out of Tacoma, Washington, in a small place called Chocolate City because it's predominantly black. And most of my family is from the East Coast, and my stepfather was stationed in the Army, and we got stuck out here because he started smoking crack cocaine when I was a young kid, man, and it's been kind of hard ever since being stripped away from my family.
So you're from the Tac Town. So, yeah, you've experienced that trauma of being in the inner city. Tac Town was once the murder capital of the country. There were so many murders and gang violence there. I'm sure a lot of our audience knows about Tacoma's name for the infamy for their gang violence. So, yeah, you grew up in that. So we definitely want to bring that to the attention of the community and bring these factors to light.
Oh, yeah, man. Listen, man, you know, being in Tacoma in the 80s, man, in the early 80s was definitely a rough time. It actually shaped how I started breaking away from the gangs and trying to find a way out. You know, even though I still got trapped and stuck in the system, you know, I always had a great sense of humor and always learned how to reverse things and use even my skin color, you know, as a way of bringing humor because I'm the darkest out of 3. I got a sister that's light-complected. My brother was light-skinned, and I was always literally the black sheep. You know, I was always dark-skinned. You know, I like to call myself brownie-complected. If you could call yourself a color, you know, what would you call yourself? And I would say I'm about like a brownie-complected, you know. You know, what do you call yourself? What's your complexion, Daniel?
Oh man, I'd say I don't have no comedy skills, man. So I just keep it basic. But yeah, hey, tell the audience, man, about who do you look like, man, out of the celebrity world, man?
It's crazy, man. I got like 4 different faces in one, man. I've been told I look like everything from Tyrese to Chappelle to Eddie Murphy, even Tupac. I don't know how you can get those 4 faces in one, but I play it off pretty good, man. You know.
Hold on. So you're saying that you look one way. Somebody say you look like Tyrese. You look the other way. They say you look like Tupac.
Yeah, man. Thug life, man. Thug passion, man. You know. They say you ain't dead yet. How the hell you come back alive? You know what I'm saying? I just seen you in that movie, Fast and the Furious. It's like everywhere I go, man, I look like somebody else.
Every city I go.
Every other video.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Where I go.
Dirt, man, you're an inspiration to so many people, man. Your comedy keeps people laughing in prison. You love telling stand-up. You love keeping people laughing. But let's get on the serious side of stuff. Can you share with the audience, man, the struggle you're dealing with medically right now?
Man, and this is becoming a big thing out there in the world, man. I was just diagnosed about 6 months ago with MS, man, multiple sclerosis. And it happened, the way I discovered I had MS is I was doing a show in prison. You know, I was doing a show, and they said when you have MS, you lose coordination and your motor functions, your motor skills or whatnot. And I was performing, and I forgot a part of my verse, and I literally dropped the mic.
Wow.
I literally just dropped the mic. I lost my grip. Not like how they say drop the mic. I literally just dropped the mic.
Oh, that's tragic.
And, you know, a lot of people was like, damn, he dropped the mic, you know.
Yeah.
I had to make humor out of it too, you know.
So you say you didn't drop the mic on some kind of profound moment. You dropped the mic on a medical moment, huh?
Absolutely. I just dropped the mic with the MS, man. And, you know, I'm learning how to cope with it because when I first was told I have multiple sclerosis, it's like being told you're dying, you're dead, you know. I've already been sentenced to 53 years, and hearing that, I died. You know, I've died so many times and came back to life. So when I was told I have MS, I was like, what does that mean? Most sexy? More strength? Like, what is MS, you know? And, you know, they try to break it down to me, and it still was hard to fathom. But I've been seeing more and more celebrities, you know, with MS. I just recently seen Christina Applegate. You know, she discovered she's been battling with MS after she beat breast cancer. So, you know, I look up to people who are still moving and still doing their thing, you know, as I am too.
Absolutely, yeah. I heard she's got a remarkable podcast that we hope maybe you could potentially get interviewed on sometime. So send a shout out to Christina Applegate. She wants to show up.
No, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Well, man, it's nice to hear you put a comedy spin to the MS. That's a really serious diagnosis. That's a degenerate, and there is no cure to it. So, you know, you're not only suffering on all sides in regards to prison violence, you're dealing with the prison politics, you're dealing with the guard brutality, you're dealing with the oppression, the slavery, the prison administration corruption, and now you got to deal with this medical condition, man. I can't understand how you're doing it with a smile, my man.
Oh, man, just keeping it going, man, and not letting it stress me out. Not more stress, you know. I always come up with a way to reverse the MS, you know, more stress, you know. I just put it in these words, you know, more sexy, more strength, you know, just reverse that. Don't always look at it as such a bad thing. That's how I think the cure is not letting it beat you down, because I haven't been properly treated, and I'm not on medication yet. But I think they're waiting until I die first. I think that's what they do in DOC. I think they wait until you die.
That inadequate prison medical care, man. I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Yeah,
you'll be called to medical. I see you on the call out. They wheel you out, and you know what I mean? That's sad.
Yeah. Then I'll get my medication. You know, I think it's Ocrevus or something. I think that's the medication. They'll give it to me when I'm dead. You know.
Yeah, damn, bro. We laughing, but it's dead serious. They really giving you inadequate medical care in prison. I mean, this guy has been waiting for his medical care for how long now? You've been waiting for these meds?
For about 4 months. I was
4 months to get the medication prescription this man needs. Can you imagine? This is what we're talking about. These are the injustices. Man, let's talk about it, man, you know? Let's talk about it, man. This is an injustice. This man needs his prescription, and we got to deal with it, man. It's just sad.
Absolutely. You know, it's just a waiting game. You know, everything here is a waiting game. You know, I don't know if you guys ever had a relationship with somebody in prison. Everything's a waiting game. Everything gets put on hold. Everything costs money. You know, I actually just currently had a breakup because due to DOC, me and the lady, we broke up because she couldn't deal with it. It was just becoming a hassle, you know. And me as a vassal, you know, I try to stay away from hassle. You know, I really try to, you know, build a castle, you know. So I also want to commend you and your wife, man, because it's hard. It's hard. You know, they become a prisoner, you know, just coming here to come visit you. You know, they got to get searched and stuff and pat searched like they're, you know, got a knife on them or a gun on them or something like that. You know, they just come to see their loved one and stuff. How do you deal with that, Linda?
Oh, I just have to go through the process. I get pat searched every time I go in there.
Oh, my God. I know that is just horrific. It is horrific.
It's like she's a criminal, too. Like, they say this is supposed to be family-friendly. My woman, like, she's a terrorist.
Like a terrorist, huh?
Yeah, you want to pat down a 2-year-old. They're patting down 2-year-olds in here, you know?
Absolutely.
It's sad.
Didn't you just currently get an infraction for having a straw?
Yeah, I had a straw. I had a straw in my pocket, and they gave me an infraction. I have been working so hard at staying infraction-free, and I got an infraction for a straw in my pocket. So they just ruined my chances of bringing more attention to the injustice of my case in clemency based on a bogus, petty infraction for a straw. This is what we got to deal with, man, and it's an injustice. It's really an outrage, but, you know, I stay positive, and just like you do, man, just keep striving forward, you know?
Staying resilient, man. That's all we can do is be brilliant and resilient. I mean, the straw must have been titanium.
Yeah.
It must
have been made out of something because they were acting like they just had a bust.
Oh, yeah.
They had them surrounded like, we found a straw in his pocket.
You might be able to sip some fluid.
Yeah. There's some coffee residue in this straw.
Oh, yeah. So petty, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man. It's very petty. I mean, just think about this, man. Just think about this. Like, we come inside from the cold. We come inside the unit from the cold, and if we still have our beanies on, our hats on, we're paying these people to people watch. Some of the rules are so petty. Please get your money back. If you are paying taxes and you want to actually see what's going on inside of here, what your money's going towards, you would want your money back, because we get chewed out and cursed out and risk getting in trouble for wearing a beanie when it's cold outside. Some of these guards are lazy, and all they're doing is people watching and punishing and oppressing us. That's all we get in here. Hey, take your hat off. What is the hat going to do? What is your beanie? How is that going to hurt somebody?
Where's the rehabilitation in them oppressing you like that? Yeah, exactly, man. That's a good point, man. It's time for a refund. We got defund DOC. We want to defund it, and then we want to refund it to the taxpayer, because they ain't been getting their money's worth. Any business that had an 83% failure rate would be in bankruptcy. And we need to put DOC in bankruptcy.
No, absolutely. It's just a waste. It's a waste, man. There's nothing positive. There's nothing going on. If you were to do a tour in here, you would come in these day rooms, in these units, and you would see people's faces down, people's head down, not having any kind of purpose. I've seen a guy say, hey, man, I'm about to get out, man. I'm scared. People are scared to get out to the streets from prison because they haven't been doing anything, because they give us nothing. I've never seen a person scared to get out. Have you ever seen that, Daniel?
Yeah, I've seen it actually a number of times. I mean, he's right. It's a real epidemic that, these people are in here not getting trained with any careers. They're not getting treatment for their substance use disorders. They're getting released with small amount of money and quite a bit of debt. And they're like, dang, man, I'm getting out. Like, this is a tragedy. And then we see these same people in a month or two back with 5-10-year prison sentence. And it's all systemic, man. We need to defund it.
Defund it, man, and get your money back. I always say that, man. # get your money back. I had this black dude, and I'm not trying to be racist because I'm black myself, but I had this black dude that always used to come in county jail with his hair undone. He always had an afro. And the first thing he would say is, hey, man, you know any hair braiders? And I'm like, any hair braiders? I said, oh, man, you're coming to jail to get your hair braided? Out of all the people that do hair on the street, you're coming to prison or jail to get your hair braided, man. It's sad, man. It's very sad to see somebody that can't even get their hair done on the streets,
Hey, tell them about that little clip song that you got about the Baldy, man. That's a good little comedy song, man. Let's get a dose. Let's get a dose.
For all the guys that don't have hair, like me and Daniel, man. Tell me how I'm supposed to braid with no hair. It's no fair when you ain't got no hair. It's no fair with no hair. Tell me how I'm about to use a new brush. Yeah, your hair's always beat up. Yeah, I just think that it's no fair. It's no fair with no hair.
This guy got us rolling in here, man. We're so thankful for people like you, Dirt, man. You're an inspiration, man. You keep us laughing in the midst of our suffering, man. Thank you so much. Let's continue after this break.
As an incarcerated writer, comedian, and musician, can you share whether you were supported in any fashion by DOC in these careers?
I was never supported. Actually, I was restrained. I was stripped from being able to be creative. It's crazy you asked me that, Linda. Look, Linda. It's not listen, Linda, no more. We're going to say, look, Linda. We're going to create our own thing with your name. Look, Linda. When I first went to Shelton, I actually was making a beat on my bunk. That was the first write-up I've ever had. That's so crazy you asked me that. The first write-up I ever had was for doing music too loud at the receiving prison of Washington. I was rapping. But the next day, a guy, he was doing his country song, and he allowed him to do his song, and he just didn't like rap. The guard didn't like rap. So ever since then, it has always been kind of like just, a conflict with me doing my music. You can't play your keyboard out loud. There's a lot of things to where we're prevented from being able to show our talents. And I think I'm pretty talented when it comes to music.
Yeah, you are, for sure.
How do you feel about the state classifying you as a slave and stealing your rightful wages for your labor? Do you think prison slavery is a violation to your human rights?
Yes, I definitely do. And you keep on hitting all these questions right on point, Linda. So I actually have a song about that. I always write a song to express what I'm going through. Would you like to hear the song I have for the question you just gave me?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'm bringing slaves back. Yeah, you dirty inmates don't know how to act. Yeah, they pull me over in my Cadillac. Yeah, they pull me over just because I'm black. Yeah, take it to the slaves. Dirty slaves. They so damn skinny, all you see is rib cage. They'll whoop me if I start to misbehave. And make me work until I'm in the grave. Yeah, talking to the slaves. Go ahead now. Go ahead, pick cotton with it. Go ahead, pick cotton with it, work your hips. Go ahead, pick cotton with it. Go ahead, pick, see them lips. Go ahead, pick cotton with it. Go ahead, pick cotton with it. Go ahead, child. Work it now. And that's what I got, man. You know.
Dirty, that is hilarious. I love how you can make humor out of such suffering, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the audience is going to appreciate that. You know, here we are talking about a human rights crime, a crime against humanity, atrocity, that they're stealing people's wages across this whole country under prison slavery, and you're able to talk about bringing slave ships back. Yeah. That's good, man. That's good.
Absolutely.
Can you share your perspective on your treatment by guards within DOC?
Oh, well, my treatment has been horrible. The way we're treated in here is just horrible. You know, everything, like I was saying earlier, it's a punishment. There's no privilege to you getting locked up, being rehabilitated. Everything is just a punishment. Punish you for this, punish you for that, oppress you for this. You know, they don't have anything for a person to work on their self-esteem, for their confidence, anything like a career or skill building. Everything is just to oppress you and make you feel bad. Once we were sentenced for our crime, once we were sentenced by the judge, that is the punishment right there. You know, anything other than that is extra. And I feel we get talked to like dogs, and we get treated like dogs and less than. You know, we're never equal.
Have you ever been in solitary confinement for over 30 days? And if so, can you share your perspective on the effects it had upon you?
Okay, damn, yeah, you're always on point. You're always on point, Linda. Yeah. I've done a couple programs. I've went to the hole, you know, a lot of times. But the worst experience with that was actually COVID. COVID was the worst time because a lot of us guys here at Airway Heights, when the crisis was going on, they tested a lot of us too late. So I was negative by the time I was actually tested the first go-around, and they said, oh, well, we're going to move you to confinement, and we're doing this to keep you safe. When actually they were actually doing herd immunity, and they were moving people around other sick people and forcing each other in cells and living areas so that you would catch COVID so they could hurry up and rush the process. So they were calling it herd immunity, but I actually got put in confinement for 4 months. So they said, oh, we're doing this to keep you safe, when I already had COVID, but I never was tested in time.
So they inflicted COVID on you on purpose. That's tragic.
Absolutely.
How many times have you been issued diesel treatment, and how does that feel to you?
I was always taught this: never get too comfortable. Because the minute you start getting a good system going and you start doing what you need to do, or you get a good cellmate that you can get along with, that's when they move you. They will move you from prison to prison, from cell to cell. As soon as they think, oh, well, he's having fun, or, oh, he's not getting in trouble, you get moved. They want you to be uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah, that's sad. That's a mental health trauma right there. It's very disorientating and very traumatic. I mean, you got to establish yourself every prison you go to. Like, you got people trying you. You got to find a seat in the chow hall. You got to find people to talk to. You can't even sit in the day room until you know there's going to be a seat available for you. It's an injustice the way that they're doing it, and then not even talking about the particular matter in regards to diesel. They're warming the environment just using diesel therapy.
No, absolutely. They just want to keep you unbalanced. They never want you to have any kind of balance. They really just don't want us to be rehabilitated. They don't want us to re-enter society, anything good. All it's going to do is create bitterness and hostility and hatred towards regular tax-paying people. We never feel like we're equals. So that's why they keep you confused and keep you off your rocker. And it's never any proper rehabilitation. You know, they call it DOC, you know, for Department of Corrections, but we call it Department of Corruption.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, that's the reason why we're trying to do that at Defund DOC is try to end antisocial behaviors, man. We're trying to bring extreme socialization back. Let's bring socialization back. Yeah, okay.
We all know about the prolific pat-down and strip searching occurring in prisons. Can you tell us how it makes you feel when another man forces you to stand for a pat down or orders you to undergo a strip search?
Well, I'll tell you this. I never, ever had means of becoming a stripper until I was forced to become a stripper in prison. I promise you this. I'll tell you this. Every time you leave a visit, they want to pass search you, thinking you might have drugs on you, which most people aren't going to be stupid enough to keep drugs in their pocket or just on person, It's just degrading. I'm getting tired of getting groped and felt up on, for free. If you want to touch me, pay me. My money is not free, It's just one DOC, man. Don't be touching on me.
That's funny you say that, Dirt, man. That's actually the definition of sexual assault in any other context, man. But yet they're getting away with it systemically in DOC. Somehow they found it okay to strip people down by force, strip them naked, and then look in their most private places. I want to know how you know I got a birthmark. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, that's good, man. People need to know the funny side of this, man, but it's sad. We need more people like you that can bring the funny back,
Can you share your perspective on the lack of effective treatment and higher education in prison?
Oh, man, every time. Look, Linda. Look here, Linda. Look, Linda.
Listen, Linda.
Yeah, listen, Linda, and look, Linda. We're going to make those shirts pretty soon. I've currently been taking business. I'm trying to get my business degree. And due to the fact of my time structure, I'm always last. I'm always, put to the side to finish my course because people who with a shorter sentence are priority, or they feel they're priority. When I feel it doesn't matter how much time you have, people with a life sentence, everybody should be working on bettering yourself. And that's why I said get your money back. Please get your money back.
Please get your money back, America.
Get money back.
Refund DOC. Defund and then refund. That's what we need. The taxpayers should be getting a tax check back from the Department of Corrections, man. They've been failing for decades.
Absolutely. So I'm still working on that. I'm still working on my degree, and hopefully they'll allow me to finish, but for right now I'm on hold. But still.
We all know about the therapeutic effects of marijuana, how it reduces depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Do you believe that DOC should sell or offer marijuana in prison? And how do you feel about DOC offering addictive substances such as Suboxone, but not allowing prescriptions or recreational marijuana inside prison?
Well, I really think it's weakening the natural American by getting them hooked to things like Suboxone. They say they do that because of the prevention of an OD, to fentanyl. They don't want people doing fentanyl. And they give you something that keeps you addicted to a substance, versus just something natural like marijuana, something that, a person's not going to go and rob somebody or kill somebody for marijuana, for a joint, versus being addicted to an opioid. And Suboxone is supposed to be the opiate blocker or the reverse of opiate, but it's still a way for people to get high. We see it every day. That is like the new marijuana is Suboxone. Everybody's doing it. Spice or Suboxone. Everybody's looking for a quick, cheap high and an escape. And marijuana would be amazing for people. You could sell it on store. Just like commissary, it should be an item on commissary.
Yeah, they should have edibles. That should be a real thing. I mean, the only excuse for not allowing marijuana could potentially be like secondhand smoke, but you can prevent that by having edibles. So, yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head, Dirt, man. That's something that we need to bring to the attention of legislators that, let's reduce violence. Let's bring marijuana back.
Absolutely. Bring marijuana back. Those potheads don't know how to act, man.
What would it mean for you if DOC actually supported prisoners' potential career opportunities, such as certifications for tattooing, MMA boxing training, marijuana agriculture certification, and, of course, your musical endeavors?
I think it would reduce the violence. It would reduce the loss of hope. If a person has something to lean on, a career, expressing themselves using their physicalities in the right way. If I can get paid to be an MMA fighter versus fighting a bunch of people in prison and I can get paid for my craft, that would be so amazing and would give so many people hope. People need hope in here, and I think that would be perfect. Tattooing, some of the best artists. I had an idea for a tattoo shop, and these are a lot of guys that walked away from gangs, it would be called Dropout Inc. I think that would be an amazing thing for a lot of guys who walked away from the gang life and wanted to tattoo. You have some of the best artists in prison.
Absolutely, Doug.
Can you tell our listeners how it feels being separated from your family for such a long period?
Oh, man, this is the worst thing ever. This is one of the worst things ever. I feel like I've become a voice to my family, to my 4 boys. I have 4 boys from amazing mothers, and, you know, it strips you from the true influence and being a true role model, you know, to everybody who's out there who is being weakened from society and from the way the government is training people to just take state assistance and not really have hope or become an entrepreneur. You know, I think we need to be more in contact, and there needs to be more ways. Like I've lost a lot of females being in relationships due to DLC. You know, they went from JPay to Securus, and they made it so hard for people to switch over. If you've forgotten your password, that a lot of people are like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I love you to death, but hey, man, this is too hard. You know, when gas prices went up, when inflation started, you know, people are like, I'm not buying no stamps. I'm not buying no stamps to talk to you. I'm going to get some gas. I got to go to work. You know, people shouldn't have to choose. And I think they make people choose because everything costs in here.
DefundDOC.net is advocating for radical prison reform. Particularly, we seek to end prison slavery. Do you think that is an important reform to focus on?
Absolutely. You guys are the voice of the inside, you know, the voice that has been muted. Like, a lot of people feel they don't have a voice, and they feel helpless, you know. They're like, why even care? You know, you get the I don't care attitude and the mentality because we don't have a voice, and what you guys are doing is creating a platform for people to have a voice and be heard, and this is one of the most amazing things I've ever heard of.
Absolutely. And in closing, we only got a little bit left. We just want to touch on this album, man, that you and me are putting together, man. So what do you think, my fellow Vassal, man, what do you think the audience can prepare for, man, when this album comes out?
Man, they can prepare for something new, something innovative, man. We're prison country-style rappers, and there's never been a thing. I've never heard of it, and I'm pretty sure you haven't. It's just something new, funky, and just electric, man, and I think the world is just ready for something new, you know?
Absolutely, man, and I can't wait to bring it and unveil it to the world, and, man, you're an inspiration to everybody in prison, man, Dirt, and we thank you for allowing us to encapsulate your essence on this podcast, letting the world know who you are, and your 4 kids out there, man, they're missing their dad. You need to be out there, man. You got too much time for what you're in here for, so, yeah, man, we hope that one of the main reform things that we hope to work on is reducing all non-homicide offenses down to 8 to 10 years maximum, bringing all homicide down to 15 to 20 maximum. You know, they shouldn't be killing our people, man. Currently, they're in the business of enslaving us and warehousing us. So thank you.
Well, I love you guys out there, man. I definitely love Defund DOC, man. Y'all need to check it out, man. And check out the Vassals, man. We're coming to you soon. Y'all all stay blessed out there.
Hey, yeah. All right, man. All right, Dirt. You stay up, too. And everybody out there, keep checking in. You better have your family and friends subscribing. We need more people on this podcast. We need to shed a light on the injustices. You need to hear these prison stories, these prison people that have been silenced. They're being amplified on this podcast. We're trying to showcase the exceptional. And Dirt's one of them, and Killicast is one. We're just going to continue to showcase the world of these untapped talents. And Linda, thank you so much.
All right now. Get your money back, y'all.